for grounding us in that these are needs that have been demanded for a long time. These are not new problems, and we're sick of the same old politicians not acting on it. These are not political games, these are people's lives.
That's right.
Time for action. So now we're going to pass it off to Elana. Thank you.
Hey everyone. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much to everyone who's spoken. Really glad to see you all here. So I wanted to tell you all a story about last summer. So as Rachel mentioned, last summer in 2020, we flipped a lot of seats in the State House. And there was a big coalition of folks in Rhode Island who were doing that. And I was part of one of those through Sunrise, the Sunrise Field Program. And what that looked like was I and a bunch of other youth across Rhode Island spent like 12 hours a day, every day, calling voters, knocking on voters' doors, and perhaps most importantly, calling other youth across Rhode Island and asking them to knock on voters' doors and call voters. And I want to tell you a story about one of those doors that I knocked on. So I spent a lot of time last summer in Representative David Morales' district. And I was walking down the street looking for my next house, and I figured out which house it was, looking at the map and all that, trying to figure it out. And sorry, my mask is falling off, guys. And let's try this. And all right, so I got to the house, and I looked in the driveway, and there was an NRA bumper sticker on the person's car. And I thought about it, and I was like, should I really knock on this door? I don't know if someone who's part of the National Rifle Association is compatible with David, who's a progressive and all that. But I said whatever, and I went down the driveway, and I saw that there were people doing yard work. And we started having our conversation, and I said what I usually would say to distinguish David from the incumbent, Dan McKiernan. And I said, David supports Medicare for all and affordable health care more generally. And Dan McKiernan, the incumbent, has voted against expanding Medicaid. Boo. And we talked about that for a while, and we finished the conversation. I thanked them for their time, and I went to find the next door, figure out where it was on my map. And as I left, I overheard one of them saying to the other, I didn't realize that Dan McKiernan had voted that way. So that was a pretty important moment for me. And I think, as we think about this district right here today, I can imagine that we might be having some of those same conversations come 2022. I think it's possible that in 2022, all those youth that were out here and many more from 2020 will be in this district having conversations with constituents. Did you know that Rep. Blazejewski had a chance to pass a statewide Green New Deal? Right. Did you know he could transform the state? He had the chance to vote yes on that?
Right.
And did you know that he actually ran saying that he supported climate justice and all that we've been talking about? And did you know when he had that opportunity to pass a statewide Green New Deal that could transform the state, that he voted against it?
Right.
And I think a lot of those youth and other volunteers who are going to be in this district in 2022 are going to walk away from those houses and overhear someone say to the other one, no, I didn't know that. I didn't know he voted that way. But now I do.
That's right.
And so when we think about why we're here today, one thing that could happen is Rep. Blazejewski could come out right now and say, yeah, I'll support it. And that would be great, right?
Yeah.
That's what we want. But if that doesn't happen, right, the other option is that we vote him out in 2022.
That's right. Yeah.
And I just want to end with a quick story to just talk about how exciting that can be. So I'm going to bring it back to Representative David Morales' district last summer. It was election day, and it was 10 minutes before polls were going to close. And my role that day was to be one of a number of people who were walking all around the district, knocking on every door of everyone who'd said that they would vote for David, and asking them to please get to the polls before they closed, and making sure they knew it was election day today. And it was 10 minutes before polls closed. I checked my phone, and I walked 15 miles, and my feet really hurt. And I just finished the last street that I had to knock doors on. And I just double-checked my map, and I realized there was one house that I missed. And that house, I realized, was all the way back up the hill that I just walked down. And I was like, oh my God. And so I turned around and I huffed and puffed my way back up that hill. And I caught my breath at the top. And I took a glimpse of the sky for a second because I was like, let's take a look. And it was a sunset. It was really pretty. Yeah. And finished catching my breath. I went to that door. I knocked on the door. And a man opened the door and I said, hey, we have in our records that you're planning to vote for David. Can you make it? There's only 10 minutes left, but it's going to be a really close race, and we need every vote. And I was like, heart beating and all that. And and he said, don't worry. We already voted. I already voted, and my whole family already voted for David too. That's the kind of moment that we're going to have here in 2022.
That's right.
And lots of moments like that. And so, yeah, we've been at this campaign for a while. As we've all mentioned, sent tons of emails, canvassed the district, et cetera, and so I think at this point we need to be prepared for the fact that Blazejewski may not support the act, right? That's not a fun or happy thing to say, but I think we just need to be prepared, and I want to say that I know we are prepared. And so, as Rachel mentioned, where's Rachel? Hello. Yes, exactly. As Rachel mentioned, in Sunrise we have this phrase, step up or step aside, and if Rep. Blazejewski doesn't step up, I hope y'all are down to join me in 2022 to help him step aside. Yeah.